Do you still believe in the American dream? Most people don't, unfortunately. According to a poll by the Wall Street Journal, most people do not believe that the American dream is still possible, only 36%. And those of us who are living the American dream, air quotes, a house, kids, 2.5 kids, white picket fence, etc., are funding that by debt. Now, one of the things I'm concerned about with the American dream, whatever you want to call the American dream, is that when people lose hope, when people lose the desire for a better future, they're a lot more susceptible to manipulation. So reading this article here, this is from Zero Hedge. Poll conducted by the University of Chicago, only 36% of people believe in the American dream. Still holds true. Strength in the U.S. economy. A lot of people think the economy is getting worse. Only 2% of respondents believe the economy is excellent, but 18% rate it poor. Combined net, 35% think the economy is good or excellent, but 65% think the economy is not so good to poor. So what does this do to the American psyche? I've shown videos on this channel many, many times of people who are making quite a bit of money. I did a video months ago of people who have over $100,000 in income being in tons of debt. And they are the new middle class. I remember growing up, $100,000 was considered rich. Now it's not the same. And we all know why this is. Debasement of the currency. I've said this 1,000 times. The last thing to go up with inflation is people's wages. Further reading, only 30% of people think America is better than 50 years ago. I thought this question was silly. Many respondents had no idea what life was like 50 years ago. That's true. We tend to romanticize things that we didn't live through. For some, even 15 to 20 years ago would be a struggle. Nonetheless, perhaps the answer is telling. Apparently, things are so bad now that people presume they were better 50 years ago. Home ownership rates going down, et cetera, et cetera. So my question for you, and one of the many reasons I talk about this kind of stuff on my channel, I don't think the majority of people that respond to polls like this, who have a rational reason why they think the economy is worse, because, hint, hint, it is, can really pin the tail on the donkey as to why the economy is worse, why the American dream is dying. And if you want to tell people, like I try to do, why the American dream is dying, it's not because of politics. I mean, that is a symptom, and politics is getting worse. It all comes down to the money printer. It all comes down to the money printer. As they debase currency, and you see it in real life. During COVID, what happened? The rich got way richer. Everyone got a stimmy check. So in theory, you were richer. You had more savings. And now we just had Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and no one showed up because no one can afford to live anymore. At least the lifestyle that they had. The lifestyle that they were trying to maintain in 2019 is much harder to maintain on the salary they have now, even though their salary is probably higher than it was in 2019. The things they're trying to buy have become more expensive. So what is wealth? What is the American dream? It is your access to goods and services. It is your access to goods and services. So the poorer you are, capitalism is supposed to afford the opportunity for the poorest among us to have more and more access to better and better goods and services, because the idea of competition drives the marginal cost down. And you should ask yourself, why are costs going up? If the goal in capitalism is competition and to drive costs down, why are costs going up on all the things you need? Education, real estate, transportation, healthcare, all those things are going up at a significantly higher rate than your income. And once you figure that out, once you figure out why those things are going up, and it involves government subsidies, it involves the money printer, etc., and mostly it involves debt. All those things involve debt. and therefore they're allowed to, or they can push their prices way higher. It starts to piss you off, and you start to look for a solution, because none of the things that we're doing today, none of the things that politicians will suggest will ever fix the problem. They will suggest stimmy checks. They will suggest tax raises on the rich, et cetera, et cetera. And marginally, those may make a slight difference. But the biggest problem that we are facing in the United States, if you're a person that knows people that do not believe in the American dream anymore, they're having a hard time making ends meet, or you are, it is because of debasement of the currency, meaning we print more and spend more than we take in taxes. We will always be, we will do this until citizens reject it. Bottom line. So I'm still a believer in the American dream. I'm still a believer that it can happen, but it is harder. I think it's significantly harder today to afford to have a family, to afford a house, and I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. There's ways you can mitigate that, and we talk about that kind of stuff on this channel. But ultimately, at the end of the day, all the solutions that are being suggested are only going to make the problem worse. It involves more spending, more debasing of the currency. And all you can do is, as you see the train coming, because people are going to vote for it, unfortunately, as you see the train coming, get off the tracks. All right, guys, let me know what you think. Do you think the American dream is dead? How do you sell hope to the future generation if it is dead? Right? If you think there is no hope, what's the point? What are we talking about here? Because I do think there's hope. I think there's hope for change. I think there's things we can do, like investing in Bitcoin, that change the paradigm, that change the power structure, that's your vote out of the system. But one thing I'm concerned about with people with no hope is they're a lot easier to manipulate. They'll want things like socialism sells when people are desperate, unfortunately. So how do you sell hope to people? If you're a believer in the American dream still, how do you sell hope to people? How do you think we're going to change this trajectory that we're on as a country? I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.